Hey DJ, play that music.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Restitching the Tapestry. It is, as of this recording, Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. We are at the end of February already, Ari. How are you feeling about that?
Pretty good, pretty good. As you can see, I'm in the process of moving. No paintings on the wall. If you can, like, visually check other videos, there used to be paintings on the wall. There used to be books on the bookshelf. No longer. I'm in the middle of moving.
It's going to be the end of an era of
I
backgrounds,
know.
right? Do you
Mhm.
ever think about that? Like, I always think about, like, sometimes I think about my YouTube and, like, the era of, like, what was my background this entire span of videos,
I know.
right?
I change it every season, just about. Like, I move around my apartment a little bit. I'm like, what's the background?
This has been my same one for almost 4 years. It's probably my longest running background, I'd say.
Yeah.
Now, are you excited to move?
I am. I'm moving to my parents' house. It's gonna be interesting living with my parents. It's gonna be loud.
Well, I hope that you'll have your space and that you'll be able to, like, do what you need to do and, like, have privacy and your creative space as well, so I'm sure
Yeah.
you will.
What about you? What's new with you? That's a loaded question, right?
This week, Ari, has been a dumpster fire riding a flaming barge down a river of pure oil that's lit on fire.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, Cliff Notes version, everyone. My parents were in the ER on Monday. So this whole week has been like frantically like making sure my parents are okay, talking to doctors, just being in the hospital, kind of navigating that around work schedules and stuff like that. It's better now, but like Monday was really scary. It kind of like was one of those days where I was just like, wow, the mortality of my parents is really just kind of messing with me, right? Today, thinking back on Monday, right?
Yeah, like it's setting in.
Yeah, it's like it's really setting in, and then I have to, like, have the conversations of, like, "Hey, we need to start taking care of our health, we need to start prioritizing our health," right? And then, of course, it's been making me think about, like, my own health, I'm in my late 30s, it's like, what am I doing to make sure that I am where I need to be, right, at this
Yeah.
point in my life? So, yeah, it's just been this interesting thing about, like, I'm aging, people around me are aging, how am I processing that?
It's sort of like having a little bucket and the water is like dripping out. And you're like trying to keep the water in the bucket.
Literally, that's the perfect analogy, honestly. But beyond that, my week has been going well. Things are getting a little bit more stable. I've been finally catching up on work. I've been trying to like catch up on cleaning. I think cleaning was like the big thing that I wasn't able to catch up on because it's just been so constant with moving, right? A lot of driving lately. Like that's been a thing. So, other than moving, what have you been up to?
Oh, well, I might have a boyfriend.
Ari?
His name is DJ.
Okay. Wow.
And he's a mixed guy. So he's half black, half white. He's from California. He's 36, so he's younger.
Oh, okay.
But he lived in Ohio for a while because he that's how he got into the Midwest, is he was living in Ohio. But he just moved to Michigan because he had some friends that were living in Michigan that were like, "Come to Michigan, come to
Mhm.
Michigan," and he was like, "Sure." So when I first met him, he had been in Michigan only like a few days.
Mhm.
So we had like matched, and like he was like, "Oh, because it was Valentine's Day," and he was like, it was Friday the 13th, and he like messaged me, and I said, "Oh, spooky Friday the 13th," And I was like, "Oh, Valentine's Day is tomorrow." He's like, "Oh, I would ask you out, but we just met. And I don't want to like push you beyond your boundaries." I said, "You'd ask me out on a date?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, let's go out." I said, "You drive to see me?" He said, "Yeah." So we saw a movie and
Oh
he's
my god.
dinner. And then we went out again the next like week. I took him to yoga and he loved it.
This is so stinking cute.
And then the third date, he came over to my house and we watched the Olympics and I made him tacos.
I love this.
Mhm.
You're blushing.
I am.
I'm so happy. He sounds like a really good guy. And as long as he treats you right, then he's good in my book.
Yeah.
Because we don't tolerate people treating each other like crap. So
Yeah. He's really sweet.
good. Well, I have no doubt that we will have more updates on this wonderful experience as the episodes go along.
Yeah.
Yay! I'm invested in your love life. Are we ready for the mission statement?
Yes. Let's go.
It's my turn. We live in a dynamic society where social media shapes us by creating greater opportunities for connection. It has led to a developing understanding of the adversity many marginalized communities face, the powers causing the adversity, and those who act as bystanders as atrocities take place in real time. Our goal with this show is to make connections and have challenging conversations about social topics, current events, pop culture, and art. Together, let's weave the threads of understanding with what privilege we have in order to learn, educate, and create in a world that's growing. Much to everyone's relief, our current event snapshot will not be as lengthy as it was last time.
It was like half the episode last time.
It literally was half the episode last time. So, like, it was a lot. It was a lot. So, the first major current event is, of course, the State of the Union was yesterday.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't watch it.
I did not watch it either, but I did watch like the takeaways, like by various
I know
sources.
that Al Green got kicked out because he had a protest sign that said "Black people are not apes."
Responding to Trump sharing that AI video,
Yeah,
superimposing former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama
and
in a
I know,
video. Ooh.
and I know that the men's hockey team went, and people were really upset with them for going.
Yeah. Yeah. There was like a counter event that happened that was like a bunch like various journalists and like political figures doing their own kind of like State of the Union, and a lot of people did attend that. Um, but of course, the State of the Union, as it was per tradition, there were still a lot of people that attended, and it went on for 2.5 hours. I heard,
Oh my God.
which is apparently like the longest State of the Union that there's ever been, which sounds exhausting. And many of the takeaways were like them glorifying like ICE and like, attacking the trans community and etc. Like kind of like the classic points that they've been leaning into the last couple of years. So I heard many people say that it sounded purely dystopian. So I'm really grateful I did not tune in to watch it because I do not have energy to give a view or any sort of engagement to something like that.
Yeah, I knew that I would just be really angry if I watched it. It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah. I've been trying to be more diligent about that lately too. Like, like knowing that certain things are going to like really upset me or like make me feel like that existential dread, giving myself like distancing myself from that type of thing. I don't know if you've been doing that, but I've been like really trying to own my space a little bit.
Sometimes I just watch things that Trump does just to see like how crazy he sounds like in person.
Mhm.
And because like unfiltered Trump, if you just listen to him, he sounds like your crazy grandfather. Like
Kinda.
he sounds just like a nutcase. He sounds like he just broke out of like a dementia ward or something.
Yeah. And I think what I find even more alarming, like sometimes I'll just tune in to see like how people are justifying every hateful, horrible, dystopian, authoritarian thing he says. And of course, like the excuse is no bounds, you know? So it's just like, what are we doing? Like, are we this out of touch with reality that we can't see things for what they actually are? Right?
Like I'm a person who takes several naps a day because of my disability,
Hmm.
and he seems like a dude who takes several naps a day. Because like I saw him at this like coalition thing. That, he did the coal thing a few days ago,
Hmm.
and he was seeming real sleepy by the end of that. Like he looked like he needed a nap by the end of it.
And the irony is that what did he attack former President Biden on all the time?
Being sleepy.
Exactly. Like, okay.
Because like he started out okay, but as the speech went on, he got real slurred speech, and he seemed real tired by the end of it. Like he seemed like he was just like a clock winding down. Like
Mm,
he seemed like he was exhausted.
yeah.
Like he
Ugh.
needed a nap.
Yeah. So the State of the Union was one thing, and then of course there's been some fallout from the Epstein files. Do you want to talk about that?
So let's talk about our show from, because I mentioned things last time that were conspiracy theories, such as like them eating babies. Like we edited it out eventually, but if you watch the premiere, then you saw me talking about
Mm,
them, you know, eating babies. And so I wanted to set the record straight that it's not confirmed that that is. I'm not saying that they didn't do that, but the things that they were referencing in the files referred to. So it talks about veggie cream cheese and babies, but the babies that they talk about in the files are potato babies, like
hmm.
baby cakes. And so it's a little bit of a misinformation that people were spreading on TikTok that he was eating babies, but it's baby cakes, not
Hmm.
the potato baby cakes. So it was a little bit of a misnomer. And
Hmm.
so, they're like, "Oh, he's eating babies. He's eating babies." So it's a conspiracy and like satanic panic that's been spread around online because of it. And so there were like a lot of articles being written about it. Um, so that was one of the fallouts, is that there's kind of like the satanic panic happening right now, and there's a lot of like conspiracy theories being spread about them, about people in the Epstein files eating children,
Hmm.
which it's already bad enough that they're, which it's not saying that they haven't done that. It's just that the evidence that they're presenting right now
Yeah.
is saying that they're, it's kind of weak evidence.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, we're doing our best to try to be as careful as possible to be as accurate as possible, right? And we're human beings. We have seen so much discourse around a lot of current events, and sometimes, like, especially like, and I was just talking to this the other day about AI to somebody about like how even AI is being used to circulate misinformation and disinformation, and we have to like be extra diligent to vet
Yeah,
sources, right?
a lot of stuff online about Epstein still being alive and using a Roblox account to
Oh,
buy
yeah.
stuff. There was a lot of stuff about that, but there was like pictures. There was a picture of him that it showed him smiling, and it was like that's his death photo, and it wasn't his death photo. That
Mhm.
CBS published his death photos, and it was completely different than the photos that they were circulating online.
So there's just yeah, there's been a lot of fallout. There's been a lot of like conflicting information. So yeah, and that's why we chose to edit that out of the prior episode because we were like we want to make sure that we address that and provide some clarification. So thank you for that, Ari.
Yeah.
What other Epstein file related things do we want to talk about tonight?
Well, Prince Andrew got arrested, and Peter Attia of CBS, he's a CBS contributor, he resigned. Chapel Roan dropped her label. So,
Oh, she dropped the, was it the talent agency that worked with
oh, the
her?
talent agency,
I think
that's
it
what
was
it
or the management agency, something to that effect. And, so she dropped them because the CEO, was it the CEO was in the Epstein files or something to that effect.
But there's been a few others, but those are the most notable that I've heard of so far.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so there's just a lot of stuff going on with that, and I feel like every week we find out something new. So we will definitely do our best to keep everybody updated on that front. The Olympics are over too. What happened
Yeah.
with that?
Um, so America, the United States, didn't win the most medals, but the women's hockey team did win gold, which the women, that's pretty cool. And the men's hockey team did win gold. The only reason why I mention the women's and men's hockey team is most of the people from the hockey teams were from the Midwest,
Mm.
Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan.
Oh, okay. It's because of all that snow.
It really is. It really is.
Katie, okay, I'm gonna have to get the cat out of here 1 second.
It's okay. Oh, hello.
He's so cute. Oh, mwah. I really enjoyed watching the Olympics this year. Like, I think last year was the first year I watched them, but I kind of just like adjacently watched them. But this year I'm like, I'm kind of invested. Like, what's that one sport where they're like going down like an icy lane and they're like scrubbing the ice?
Curling.
Curling?
I was with DJ and we were watching curling and we were like getting really into it. And we're like, why are they curling? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning in Milan. Why are they still curling?
I feel like that would be the only Olympic sport I might actually be good at.
I was like, do you know they start curling 2 weeks before the Olympics?
Really? No.
It takes that long to figure out who's the curling champ. And so the United States women's curling team lost the bronze medal championship. And so they interviewed them and they were just like crying because they lost. And I was
Oh.
like, please don't interview. We were both like, please don't interview them right now. They are having a rough go of things because they have been curling for hours.
That one skater, like, what was his name? Oh, he has like the curly hair, but he was like a skater who like
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I think his name was Ilya.
Yeah.
And he like his last one was not good. And then they interviewed him like immediately afterward. And like he was posting like really depressed stuff on social media. And I was like, oh, that's not good. It's not
Like,
good.
please don't, please don't, please
It's
don't
like you're
interview them
it's
right
like yeah,
afterwards.
like give him a moment to breathe. Give the poor things a moment to breathe. So oh, all right, let's talk about parasocial relationships. That's the topic of this episode, everyone. We've been wanting to talk about parasocial relationships for a long time, and we have finally gotten to the episode where we're going to. So, and we both have histories with this. But obviously, to set the stage, though, Ari, what does it mean to have a parasocial relationship?
So, this is not an official definition, but this is like a personal definition. So, I'm not sure how accurate it is. But to me, a parasocial relationship is when you develop a relationship with somebody digitally, um, that like you develop a personal relationship digitally that it necessarily isn't there, like that personal relationship doesn't exist. So it's like a faux personal relationship with somebody because you've learned personal information about them, or you develop these personal feelings for them through digital means. um,
Mhm.
but uh, you don't have that personalization as though you would see them in real life.
Right. That sounds very close to the definition I found. So Google says that it's a one-sided psychological bond where a person invests emotional energy, time, and interest in a media figure who is unaware of their existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think so it's interesting because I really didn't know this term was a term until probably like the last 5 years. And I think the
Um,
pandemic really drew it to the forefront.
I think probably like I found out about it in the last 10 years because I think, yeah, maybe 2016, 2017, I started hearing about parasocial relationships.
Mhm. Yeah, interesting. I think and we're gonna talk about some examples of toxic parasocial relationships, but I think the maybe it was longer than 5 years ago that I heard about it because I don't know if anybody remembers the YouTube musician Christina Grimmie, who was murdered at one of her concerts about I think it was around 10 years ago by a fan who would, like, develop, like, this parasocial relationship.
I didn't hear about that. No.
Yeah, and it was, like I think it was after her concert, like, they she was, like, meeting fans and, like, this one fan, like, just cornered her and then she was gone.
Oh,
And,
goodness.
like, I think like, I remember that really causing a huge stir and, like, the big conversation about parasocial relationships came into the forefront, at that time, so, um, but, like, I guess, how do creators develop parasocial relationships with their audiences?
So basically, like a creator or a media figure will share parts of themselves to create a false sense of intimacy. So, like, even us doing this show, we're creating a sense of intimacy with our audience because we're sharing things about ourselves. Like the fact that I shared that I had a boyfriend, or you sharing about your parents, um,
Mhm,
that kind of creates an intimacy with our audience because they know pieces of information about us, and they, not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing because people who know us watch the show, but there are people who watch us that don't necessarily know us in real life, um, because you can't necessarily gauge who's going to watch our content. So who's going to latch onto our content and be like, oh, that's really interesting. Maybe that happened to me, or maybe
mhm,
that's something that happened in my life. I'm going to watch more of their content. And then they watch more and more and more. And
mhm,
then they develop a relationship with either, myself or you. And then all of a sudden it's like, and we have no idea who these people are.
mhm.
And it's like, so it's interesting, because when you create, you don't necessarily think about the reach that you're making with your content.
Yeah, you're making yourself more accessible in a way. And I think what we don't often talk about and I really think that YouTube was probably one of the social platforms that really kind of prioritized this as early as, like, what? When did it start? 2006, right?
Mhm.
Like, YouTube gave people and the onset of vlogging gave people this intimacy, this closeness to content creators because anybody could literally go onto YouTube, and they still can, of course, and now other platforms too, can still go on and just turn on their camera and start talking about their lives, right? So I think for a lot of people, like parasocial relationships definitely stem from like a need for escapism to some extent. And I think that's why, like, especially around the pandemic, like we saw more conversation about that. Like I feel like it came more to the front of the conversation because what did we have to do during the pandemic? Nothing but consume content. So, so creators kind of became our immediate go-to. And And it makes me think about, like, my past, like, have I ever developed parasocial relationships?
Oh, I definitely
Like, on my end, or, like, has anybody developed a parasocial relationship about me? And I can definitely remember having some parasocial relationships on the internet when I was especially when I was younger.
I definitely have had some people who have developed parasocial relationships with me, and I have developed parasocial relationships. Um, my ex-boyfriend, I met him through YouTube. I watched all of his videos,
Mhm.
and I don't know how to explain it. So back in the early days of YouTube, videos were set at 10 minutes, that you could only watch videos, that you could only make videos up to 10 minutes. But the my ex-boyfriend had made 300 videos at this point.
Mhm.
Like, he made a lot of videos.
Wow.
He made so many videos, and I watched all of them
Mhm.
because I was a bored college student with a good Wi-Fi connection.
Mhm. Yep. I remember those. See, the thing is, uniquely, we remember our early days on YouTube, right?
So,
No. Oh, go ahead.
oh no. So, yeah, but the difference between then and now is that you can video reply to somebody.
I missed that feature too. Oh, that was such a great feature.
Yeah, it made it a little bit more
Intimate, but
intimate, a a little less parasocial, I suppose, because you there was an immediate like it kind of leveled the playing field a little bit in that because
you could be seen.
you could be seen.
Yeah, there was always the chance of, like, you could be seen by the creator, right?
Yeah.
I will never forget, like, so one of my first it was, like, really young YouTube, was it the YouTuber Mr. Repzion? It was somebody. I remember I did, like, a video reply, and, like, it got, like, featured, like, at the top of, like, or because, like, the way it worked is, like, underneath their video, you could see, like, the video replies, and it would, like, rank or whatever, and,
Hmm.
like, mine was at the top, and I remember, like, this YouTuber, like, watching, like, they actually watched my video, and I was just like I got, like, this adrenaline rush. I was like, "Oh my god, he watched my video, he knows me." And then, like, years later, I'm just like, "Wow, I was really obsessing over the fact that this person I didn't even know had seen me, you know?"
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder if, like, our relationship ever had, like, any root in, like, parasocialness?
No, because we went to college together and
True.
we knew each other in real life. And so I introduced you to YouTube, but we didn't really have like parasocial because we knew each other before YouTube.
True. That is the good point. I do remember becoming hyper, like, obsessed with your videos, though, because I was just like, "I need to watch Ari's I need to every video. I need to respond to the videos, I need to granted, I was so new to YouTube that I was just so excited to do something, right?
Yeah, but that was fun.
But I
That's
remember over
just
but I remember over the years, like, there have been videos of yours that I've been like, "Ari, why'd you delete that video?" It was kind of like a comfort video.
I know you miss my old channel, don't you?
Sometimes I do. I think my biggest comfort video was the, oh, what is it called? It was the one when you were in the bathroom and you were, like, doing, like, the coffee face wash.
Oh, I don't didn't repost that?
I think you may have reposted it, but I remember, like, you were just talking about, like, how men don't have ownership of your body, and I was just like, "Ari, this is biblical. Like, etch it
Yeah.
on Mount Sinai right now."
I think I reposted that video.
Oh, it was good. It was so good. So, like, when we think about parasocial relationships, I think, like, if we think of, like, major artists, like Taylor Swift, for example, like, there's been a lot of conversation about, like, her kind of like, there being, like, a parasocial relationship between, like, a lot of fans and her because of, like, all the, Easter eggs that she puts in things, all the symbolism that she puts in things that are meant to, like, connect to, you know, different
She
eras.
uses that clout to sell records, like a lot of sh and different versions of the same album.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's how
and
she
I
got to
think
be a billionaire.
Well, I think that she has found a way to successfully market parasocialism, because like when people figure something out, or when they like piece together an Easter egg or symbolism or pieces of information between eras, that kind of gives them like a sense of like, I know this person, right? Like I somehow know Taylor Swift better than everybody, and when really we all know Taylor Swift the same way, right? So, but and I've done it with Gaga before. Like I think it's I think sometimes the behavior is more commonplace than we're willing to admit, but
Yeah, there's kind of a weird thing with celebrities now, especially like with musicians, about that you're not a true fan unless you know all the lore of the band or the musician. And
mhm,
so, like, people will dress up in certain costumes or certain things to go to the concerts um, that are likened to the lore of the band.
mhm,
And that's kind of, to me, that's like very parasocial. Like, it's like,
mm,
doesn't that feel a bit too far? Like, can't you just go to a concert and enjoy the concert? Like, why do you have to like do all that?
right. Well, and yeah, I do think there is like a certain level of gatekeeping, like because like a person with the most toxic parasocialism will want they kind of act like they have ownership over that person that doesn't even know them. And
Right,
it's like, well, they don't know you, so and they're humans, so we don't own humans. Like, what are we doing?
right. Like, can't you just enjoy a band without going like all in?
Yeah. And so it's interesting because in prepping for this episode, I was thinking a lot about like my earliest signs of parasocial behavior. And I thought about how when I was a kid, I would like spiral down like these weird wormholes where like Godzilla films, for example, like that's a franchise and universe that I've hyperfixated on for a long time. I would get so deeply depressed that the people I was seeing in my screen would never know me. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense,
Yeah,
right?
it's like it's like it's like having a relationship with somebody who would never know you existed.
Yeah. So and it's been a wild thing because in 2018 I got to meet one of the actresses who I used to adore and still adore. So and I had that moment where I was like I after I meeting her, I like cried about it. And I was just like, she knows who I am now. Like when all those years as like a little kid, I was just like, this person will never know me and blah. And I was like, should not have been that depressed as a kid over that. But
But it's like, did it make a difference?
did meeting her make a difference?
Yeah.
I think it like, well, I mean, as an adult, I was able to like rationalize and be like, hey, like, there's a reason, this person doesn't know me. Like, they're a
Yeah.
celebrity. I live on a completely different continent, you know? But, like, when meeting the person, like, I was just like it was Megumi Odaka, everybody, she's one of my favorite actresses. Upon meeting her, I was just like, when you realize that somebody else is a human being too, like, I think it really kind of, like, takes that luster that we create and it, like, kind of anchors it a little bit. And it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, like, this is the person, like, why like, I'm a person too, like, I'm not any less than another person, right?
Yeah.
So, like, there is no need to kind of have that juxtaposition, and, of course, as a kid, that was the immediate place I went to. I was just like, "I'm so small and nobody will ever know me," and, well,
Oh,
let's just say that 6 years of therapy has helped me unpack that quite well.
yeah. That's interesting. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
But that having parasocial relationships is because of a feeling of wanting to be greater.
Yeah, wanting to be seen in a way, like, just wanting to not be insignificant, I think, and that was very much for me what it was as a kid, you know?
Yeah.
So
I definitely had that just recently with in the last few years with well, I've had delusions about David Lynch, that David
mhm,
Lynch was like because of my mental illness, that I had struggled with David Lynch, like being that he was watching me and stuff like that, and that I struggled with that a lot.
Mhm.
But he used to post online, and when he was alive, he had a YouTube channel, and so I watched very religiously, and I definitely, definitely had a parasocial relationship with David Lynch. I was like, I would watch his, morning video that he would do, and I looked forward to it, but it was definitely not healthy for me. Like
Mhm.
I definitely obsessed about like because he would do like song picks, and I'd be like, what song is he gonna pick today? What's the
Mhm.
number of the day gonna be? And I was like, I knew that it was not healthy for me because you know, I developed all sorts of ideas about like what it meant, like that there was like some kind of like hidden lore to it or something.
Mhm.
Um, when it was probably just like posting because he's like, this is like, it seems like a good song today. I'm probably just listening to this and it's probably a good song. But like, I don't know, or that he might have been listening to it and like he just thought it was interesting. I don't know.
Mhm.
But you know, it would whip me up into a frenzy and I'd be like, why is he posting about that?
Mhm. I think it's because, like, as humans, we have, like, this insatiable curiosity of, like, is there something deeper that we're not seeing? Something beneath the surface that we're overlooking, right? And
It's
sometimes we get
conspiracy
so
theory brain.
yeah, like, we get so caught up in it that it spirals into, something significant, right?
Mhm.
To the point where it can kind of, like, take over one's life.
It's that parasocialism.
And I have like, I'm proud of you because, like, over the years, like, I've watched you navigate that and find new tools at your disposal to work through that. And I think it took a lot of work. Like, you put in the work.
Yeah. It took a lot of work too. I was glad when he finally stopped posting, because I felt free of it was rough in the beginning. I I stopped watching just before he stopped posting, like a few days before he stopped posting. I said, I'm not going to watch his content. And then he immediately stopped posting.
Mhm.
And I was
Yeah.
like, it felt like it was a reaction to me not watching,
Right.
but it wasn't.
When
Like,
really it was purely coincidental. Yeah.
yeah, but it felt significant, but I was like, I needed to disengage because I was like, I feel like I need to that this is unhealthy what I'm doing. And
Mhm.
so I stopped watching and then it got better after that.
Interesting.
It was
Mm.
hard though. It was hard to disengage. It was hard to break that parasocialism.
Yeah. But, like, you're living proof that, like, putting in the work, like, you can do it. Like, it's possible, and it's not always gonna be easy. Like, sometimes you'll take 2 steps forward, sometimes you'll take a couple of steps back, right?
Mhm.
So, what are some other examples of toxic parasocial relationships? So I talked about Christina Grimmie. Is there another one?
So there was a creator that I followed for a little while called Call Me Chris. She had a stalker in 2023 that it got really bad that she had to move because it was so bad.
Oh my god.
Like they were stalking her, like it affected her mental health, and like they were like she would block them and they would make new accounts and like they were following like they found her address and they were stalking her house and stuff like that. It
Were
was
they,
it
like,
was really bad.
doxing her too? Like
No, they weren't doxing her. They
okay.
were they were coming to her house.
Mm, wow. That's scary stuff.
That is scary.
Mm. I'm sure there's many other examples too out there because, like, it's like, with celebrity culture, like, it's something I feel like that probably happens pretty often, you know? I think I remember a story where, of course, there's, like, specific artists I fixate on. Lady Gaga is one of them. There was a time where Lady Gaga found like there was just a fan who snuck into her hotel room and hid in her closet.
Yikes.
And when she came in, like this fan just ironically came out of the closet and scared the living hell out of her.
That's
And I'm,
crazy.
and I'm just like, that would be literally horrifying.
That would be horrifying.
And it just like I know there are some artists who've like stopped doing like meet and greets, and some artists who have like they've kind of like put some space between themselves and their fans because they just have to maintain like some level of safety.
Yeah.
And some people get so mad about that too. I'm just like, why are we getting mad? Like they are a human being. Like they deserve privacy and they deserve to be safe too.
Yeah, and it's that entitlement that, fans think that they're entitled to their time and energy.
Yeah. Well, I think like it's interesting we brought that up because the next question we have is, as an audience member, what are some things that you have to keep in mind when watching creators? That's probably the big thing. Like
Is that you
remembering.
you you aren't entitled to those things. It's like any relationship, when when you because you don't have a relationship with this person, you aren't entitled, you know, seeing this person, you aren't entitled to their time, energy, and effort. Like they what they give to you is a privilege. It's, seeing them at a concert and stuff, it's a privilege.
Yeah. And like again, like they're human beings. We don't own human beings. So, and I know like and some people try to justify it like using financial figures. Like some people will like I saw some people saying like, "Well, I buy every album, I go to every concert, so
I
I
bought a
should be
I
entitled
bought a
to
ticket,
this."
they should show up to the show.
And it's like, no, you chose to do that, okay? But in choosing to do that, that doesn't mean that you get access to every aspect of their lives.
And it's like, well, maybe they can't, maybe it's just that they, when you sign up for it, take it up with the ticket people to get your money back. But
Mhm.
like, you know, if they don't show up to the show, that's on the ticket master. Like
Yeah.
it's not up to, sometimes a celebrity can't show up to the show.
Well, and the thing is, like, I think that a lot of artists also so it's interesting. So Dua Lipa, the pop star, so Dua Lipa was criticized for not talking about, like, vulnerabilities that she experiences in her music, like a lot of other pop stars do. And I think her response, if memory serves, was along the lines of like, "That's private to me, that's personal to me, like, I don't need to monetize those personal aspects of my life to give people that level of access to me to feel
Mhm.
fulfilled," right? And
Right.
when like and mind you, like, I love it when an artist gets vulnerable, right? But, like, I thought that that answer was really interesting because in a time on the internet when we have so much access to everything, it makes me think about, like, where are the boundaries set, right? Like, should the boundaries be set by the artist? Should the boundaries be set by the viewer, or should it be a combination of both?
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting question. Because you think about it, like, does the audience, because you would think if a celebrity overshares and shares the most, they're going to get the most, because that's like where the money is, because people who are the most, who want to spend money are going to go with the celebrity who shares the most, or
Mhm.
connects with their audience the most. But at the same time, it's like, you
It's
know
like where should the boundaries be set, right?
yeah.
And well, and it's interesting because like even in my own experience, like I've been doing YouTube for a very long time, and over the last 5 to 10 years, like, my channel's grown quite a bit, and I've, like, made a lot of friends, and I've had some situations where, like, people there have been instances where I've allowed people on the internet too great of access to me, right? To the extent where, like because, like, I'm very vulnerable in a lot of the things I talk about, like, I'm like, both of us are very upfront in what we choose to talk about, and it's like I've sometimes in recent years have been kind of selective about what I choose to share on the internet, when there was a time when I used to not be selective, and it's
Yeah,
because of the instances I've had where there have been people who have kind of focused so much on, like, those vulnerable aspects of myself that it
yeah,
almost overwhelmed them to the extent of, I felt like I was causing harm by being too vulnerable. Does that make sense?
right. Well, and Instagram made it so that you shared everything from, like, what you were eating for lunch to,
Right.
every single minutia of your life, and I definitely and Facebook was like that too, where you would share, like, every single aspect of your life, it was almost like you were texting a friend, and so
Mhm.
it was fine when it was, like, just a small circle of your friends, but then it grew to, like, people you didn't know who were adding you. Like, I have people on my I that's why I don't use Facebook anymore, is because there are people on my Facebook that I don't even know who they are. Like,
Mhm.
who are these people that are on my Facebook? I don't know.
Right.
So I don't post on Facebook anymore because there are so many random people that have added me that I'm like, I don't feel comfortable posting on here. And sometimes I don't feel comfortable posting on Instagram either because, like, there's just some random people on there. And, like, if I posted just random stuff on Instagram, that would be, like, wild. Like, if I posted, like, my lunch on Instagram, or if I posted, like, it would
It
just be, like, too much.
it's so interesting that you mentioned that because like, on Facebook, there's that feature where you can look at your memories, and I sometimes will look at them, just be like, "What was Donnie in 2008 saying at this time?" I was posting everything. There was not like, every move I'd make, every shit I'd take,
And
every
it's so dangerous to post your location because people can,
Oh,
like, find
yes.
you.
Yes. I had somebody say that to me, like, a few years ago. It's like, "Donnie, you shouldn't be sharing your location, you could be unsafe," right? No, so it's interesting, like, as much as I do value transparency on the internet and, like, connection, I do think safety matters, and we kinda have to think about, like, what we put out there, and does it impact the people listening? Like, and how would it impact them? So and I don't know, like, I kind of feel like not every person on the internet's gonna do this, but I feel like people who have platforms should take responsibility for that to some extent.
Yeah.
That's just me, though. So, no. So, what should you do to protect your mental health when watching someone on a social media platform? Hmm.
Well, the first thing you should do is, realize that, they don't probably know who you.
And it's okay that they don't. Like, it is okay for the pop star to not know you. It is okay for the Japanese monster movie actress to not know you.
It's okay that the YouTube person that you're watching not know who you are. Maybe not necessarily know who you are.
Right, right. And I know, like, sometimes, like, it can feel hurtful that this world is so vast that sometimes we're made to feel small. Because heaven knows, been there, done that. But keep in mind, like, that smallness is only something that we see in our it's only something that we perceive of ourselves, because other people around us don't view us that way typically, right? So why should we view that about ourselves? That's me talking to little Donnie who used to think that.
Because if you're feeling lonely, you should get involved in your community. You really
Yeah,
should.
absolutely. It is okay to put yourself out there if there's a certain point where you are feeling that way. of course, do so safely. And I think that's what I honestly, that's kind of probably why I started doing YouTube as well. Like, not only because I had a great example, like the person sitting before me, but I I knew that I wanted some degree of visibility, you know? So I've made the necessary steps to facilitate that, right? Some people thought it was just me wanting attention, and maybe part of it was that because, you know, when you go your whole childhood being bullied and not seen, like, well, you're gonna find ways to be seen.
Yeah. But I realized I didn't have any friends that were close to me. And so I and that's really what it was. Is That's why I was latching onto people like David Lynch for
Mhm.
like comfort, is because I didn't have any local friends, like people who I could see in my real life. And I realized how lonely I was feeling.
Yeah.
Like I had you to talk to, and that was nice, but I didn't have like people who I could see regularly in my I had my family, but they didn't really understand me as much as like
Yeah.
friends would. Like I didn't have like other people who I could talk to that were open-minded.
Yeah. A support network needs layers, I think.
Right.
And
So I
yeah.
started going to yoga.
And you went to yoga, and now I know for a while that, like, you kind of, like, started developing friends, like, in the water community and in the hiking community too,
Uh-huh.
right? So and it's interesting to see, like, these different communities kind of collide with each other. But I think it's possible to do that. It's possible to broaden your support network,
Right.
you know? And, you know, maybe that would be the thing that would help solve the toxic side of parasocialism. Like, how do we fix it? Like, well, maybe give people more outlets where they can make connections with people in a meaningful way,
Mhm.
as opposed to like these like one-sided connections that, you know, don't really amount to much.
Right. That where you're just reaching for someone and you can't quite grasp it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think I remember, like, I mean, if I had a better support network when I was younger, maybe I wouldn't have, you know, gravitated toward parasocialism in various ways. Maybe I would have like been more present, if that makes sense, like been more present in my actual friendships in real life. It's very interesting food for thought. I'm gonna bring it up to my therapist and be like, therapist, let's talk about parasocial relationships. Believe it or not, something I've not talked to her about yet. So
I think that it'd be interesting, yeah, to unpack those things.
yeah,
I think that I think that I've definitely like worked through a lot of that stuff now, and that it's in that aspect it's getting better. I still struggle with mental illness for sure. Like, feeling watched and stuff like that, but it's not attached to any specific person anymore.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, you've taken steps. You've taken steps in a direction that I think has been helping,
Mhm.
right? So here's an interesting question based on what we just talked about. How do you know when you're going beyond the normal boundaries of what is acceptable behavior? Like, when do we veer into the toxic side of parasocialism?
So I would say if you've been blocked by somebody on YouTube and then you decide to make another account, that's probably like, hey,
Yeah.
you probably like if they've told you to stop and you keep going, and if they've blocked you and you make a multiple account,
Or
that's
you're going
probably
to other platforms to find them and also proceed to message them multiple times on other platforms.
that's probably like that's probably toxic behavior. Like, you probably need to check yourself.
Yeah. I think if you find yourself so like because I know like I remember like there have been YouTubers before where I've just been so hyper fixated on them where I'm checking my phone constantly. Is there a notification of a video post? Like have they uploaded anything? Is there a short? Is there, like, consume, consume, consume. When
That's
I
how I
get
am with your videos. I'm like, did Donny post today?
I do the irony is that we do that with each other's videos.
I'm like, did Donny post a cat video? I want to see Donny's cats.
It's like, oh my god, let me watch Ari clean their kitchen. I need a cleaning video. Oh my god, or watching you make food. Oh,
Oh, you want to see what? Oh, I should have filmed the video over the weekend. I was making tacos.
uh, well, you had a date over. Don't waste
No,
your.
he wasn't over yet. I made it before
Oh,
he came over.
oh.
You could have watched me make tacos. I made such good tacos. It was with it was with the taco meat and beans and corn. And then I cut up the veggies and then you would have been so excited. You would have been like in heaven.
I would have gobbled it up.
You would have parasocially, I've been like, feed the camera.
Uh, I will never forget. I think was it the first, like, there was one time in college. Not to give everybody more personal information about ourselves. But there was this one time in college you invited me back to like your campus apartment. And what did you make? I think, did you make like enchilada casserole or
Oh,
something?
enchiladas, yeah.
Ari, I remember that to this day. I remember
Oh,
how
you
good
really
it
like that?
was. I remember how
Can
good
we
it
make
was. I remember.
enchiladas again? I can make enchiladas for the camera so you can relive that.
Uh, let me eat my parasocial relationship. Oh, wait, we're friends. We don't have a parasocial relationship. We could, maybe it's toxic nostalgia. Let's go back to that episode.
I'll do the recipe so you can have it.
You could do that. You should make a cookbook.
You think so?
Yeah. I think you should. I would buy it.
Oh.
Are you like, Tony, what the fuck are you doing?
No, I think that's good. I think I
Oh.
should.
Sometimes I get carried away with ideas. But no, I think that would be great. Everybody, would you buy Ari's cookbook? Probably. Oh my goodness.
That's a
Okay.
parasocial my way into a cookbook.
Not to give everybody another outlet for that, right? Well, you could put in little stories under the recipes. Wait, people don't like that though, do they? Like if you go online and find a recipe and there's like a 10-page dissertation on like a story, people don't want to read that. Because I almost was like, maybe we should put our story of like the enchiladas from college.
I would put an anecdote in there about that would be full of puns if I put anything in there.
That would be
I'd be like, this mushroom soup recipe is full of fun guys.
Oh shit, Aki. That was bad. That was bad. This is our sign to probably wrap up the episode. Okay, one last question. What are things you can do to protect yourself online when posting? Not posting your location. We already talked about that.
Never showing the front of your building.
Yes.
Never giving out your personal details such as your name, I mean, it's fine to give your full name. Well, actually, this isn't my legal name that I use.
Nor is it mine.
So, but your social security number, your like personal data.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give out your phone number. Don't give out your email address.
I've heard people say don't share your date of birth.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I've seen people say that before. Granted, I've been very transparent about how old I am, so I don't even know if that's salvageable at this point for me. But no, I think there are many ways to keep yourself safe on the internet. Like when it comes to protecting your mental health, allow yourself time to like it's fun to be on the internet, but allow yourself time to like be present, if you're able. Because sometimes it's good to just like pick your head up and be like, "Oh, a butterfly, that's pretty." You know. What am I saying? I love the internet though.
Oh, don't share your license plate.
Oh, yes. Yep. Mhm. Yep. So, we could probably do a part 2. There's so much we could unpack about parasocial relationships, but being that we've had the history and being that we've witnessed it happen in real time, I think it's important to remember that the internet is a tool that we all have access to and that we all have to use it responsibly, right? And we have to remember that we're all human beings and we should respect each other's privacy, autonomy, time, creativity. Fuck AI.
It's like you can appreciate a creator and what they do and what videos they post, but be chill, be cool,
Just be chill. Yeah, just be chill.
follow the vibe.
That's a great way to end the episode. That's Ari's wisdom, everybody. Follow the vibe. Wait, follow the vibe. That's gonna be my new hyperfixie. I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm channeling Ari. Follow the vibe. All right, everyone. Go subscribe to our channel so you can parasocialize with us. Don't forget to click like. Um, feel free to comment. Let us know how you're doing. And thank you so much for always checking in. We love you, and we will see you next time. Have a good rest of your night. Bye.
Bye.